Just moments ago, the story everyone has been waiting for took a dramatic turn. Caitlin Clark has finally broken her silence, and what she said is sending shockwaves across the basketball world. Because, for the first time, Clark is publicly addressing what many fans have been calling the league's nasty tactics. The tension has been building for months inside the WNBA. Heated debates about physical play, officiating, media narratives, and the pressure surrounding the league's fastest rising superstar. Every game seemed to bring a new headline. Every hard foul sparked another viral clip. And every post-game interview raised more questions about whether the league was doing enough to protect its biggest stars while keeping competition fair. Now, Caitlin Clark is speaking directly to it all. Calm but clearly determined, she acknowledged the noise surrounding her rookie journey, the scrutiny, the criticism, and the intensity that comes with being the center of attention. She didn't point fingers, but she didn't ignore the issue either. Clark emphasized that physical play is part of basketball, but she also made it clear that consistency and respect across the league matter, not just for her, but for every player stepping on the court. Her message was measured, but powerful. She talked about staying focused on her team, her growth, and the bigger picture, helping the game continue to evolve while maintaining professionalism despite the spotlight. Behind the scenes, insiders say her comments could help cool tensions that have been simmering between players, fans, and media narratives that often turn every matchup into a flashpoint. Because whether you love her or criticize her, Caitlin Clark's influence is undeniable. She has become one of the most talked about athletes in sports, bringing unprecedented attention to women's basketball and helping push the league into a new era of visibility. But with that spotlight comes pressure and controversy. Fans immediately reacted to her comments, with many praising her composure and leadership, saying she handled the situation with maturity beyond her years. Others argue the conversation highlights deeper issues the league still needs to address as it grows. League officials have continued to stress their commitment to fair competition and player safety, while players across the league have emphasized the importance of respect and intensity coexisting on the court. Clark's response doesn't end the debate, but it does change the tone. Instead of rumors and speculation, the conversation now has clarity, straight from the player at the center of it all. And as the season continues, her words could shape how the league moves forward, both on and off the court. Because when star of her magnitude speaks,
NBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born white. That's it. Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken against anybody. She hasn't assisted in denying anybody else the privileges they deserve. If anything, she's tried to provide assistance. A rising tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boats. And there were sisters resentful of her. Be resentful of the system. Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark.
This is why Caitlin Clark was a game changer. And it's not because she's white, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bunch of white girls that have played in the WNBA. Why none of those white women got the respect that Caitlin Clark has gotten? Because it's not whether you're white or not. It's because, are you good? She was on Iowa's team that went to the national title. She played against a young lady, Angel Reese, and it was a good versus evil kind of thing. And also the advent of social media. Now you see her crossing people over and hitting threes, and that social media built this apparatus that made her larger than life. And she has class and decorum. Those are things that people are attracted to. Somebody that has class, decorum, and skill sets, and that's feminized as a woman basketball player. She had everything to make the WNBA successful. And they weren't doing that good if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. The stadiums weren't filled up. Like he said, they were flying commercial. You may see one of them on your flight. It wasn't until the white girl came. And not because she's white, it's because her skill set.
Obviously a huge fan of Caitlin Clark, the player. She was a huge draw to the reasons NCAA women's basketball grew the way it did, along with people like Angel Reese and Dawn Staley. And then her next step into the WNBA, it was the same thing. Because of her physical gifts and intangibles as a hooper, more people tapped into it. Caitlin Clark being named the Times Athlete of the Year is well deserved. And on the other side of that, her understanding of what her privilege is as a white woman and her awareness of what not only black women have done to build the league and to build the game, but what life is like for them based on the color of their skin is, as you said, beyond her years as it comes to wisdom, but it's also the microcosm of what sports are supposed to be. Sports bring us together, and we're talking about a young lady from Iowa, right? A young lady who, growing up, had to compete against athletes of all color and had to realize that as women, they face things based on their gender. And then on top of being faced with things based on your gender, also these black women are faced with things about being a double minority. And in being an ally and in being a voice and in using her platform, she's even being attacked by those that look like her. Megyn Kelly said, Caitlin Clark was on her knee apologizing. And Caitlin eloquently answered it in that, no, I just think I'm aware. I've always tried to understand what was going on around me. And I've always focused on blocking out the noise. And it seems like because Caitlin Clark, just simply based on her color, she became an idol, or she became a trophy piece to the white community in a sport that was dominated by black women. And they wanted to set her apart when all she's truly ever wanted to do was be a part of the team. A part of the team the way Maya Moore, her favorite basketball player, was. And I think we've continued to want to push the game forward as men as a whole for women to be recognized as great athletes as well, and to be treated in the way that their efforts say they deserve to be treated. But for black women, when you have Caitlin Clark stand up on your behalf and say, as we elevate you, we elevate the entire game, reminds me a lot of what Ryan Mundy said when we were talking about mental health. He said, what's good for black mental health is good for all mental health. And I think Caitlin Clark saying the same thing about the game of basketball. All these things I receive, all this love, all this praise, if we gave that to the very deserving black women as well, what's good for the black women of the game is good for the whole of the game. And so I think there's a greater appreciation for who she continues to grow to be as a leader as much as a player. And I think we all believe, she's setting the stage for the women's game to be bigger than it's ever been. And as her platform grows, using her voice in this way, I think will only allow her to reach more communities, more sort of opportunities to show that that culture can all to come together and be as one, like Jonquel Jones said on our show as well.
CC, you invited to the cookout.
And more so, you're invited to the pivot.
100%.
And the reason why I was a little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room. And so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about. And would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong?
Yeah.
She's a great basketball player, so you might not think it's fair that she's the face of the league, and that's understandable, because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us. And I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
And I get other players, like they've worked hard and they've worked to build this league up over their time, and all of a sudden this young player comes in and now all the attention is on her and she's the best player in the league. And Caitlin Clark is not the best player in the league right now. Right. She's the most popular, she's the most influential, but she's still not the best player in the league. She's only in her second season and she hasn't played that much this year. So really she's got like one full rookie season under her belt. She's got a whole lot of growth to go in her game in a lot of different areas. So that's the part where I can totally understand other players kind of feeling like slighted, but just the impact that Caitlin has, that's where players would be wise to kind of uplift Caitlin even more, or try and catapult her, because it only does wonders for the league. Like they are able to wear "pay me what you owe me" shirts because they're getting a new TV rights deal because of Caitlin Clark. So like there's so many sides to this, but like at the end of the day, it's what's best for the league and it's what's best for these players individually if Caitlin Clark kind of continues to build the popularity of the WNBA.